what I did during the stream. So right now you see me uploading our latest podcast to Anchor, which distributes all your podcasts to other platforms such as Spotify and all that for you. And then right now I was working on the pumpkin player, and so I was adjusting all the positions and everything like that to work with it. Right here, it's going pretty fast. Right here, I just start working on the face. Each character has different faces. One for when they shoot the bullet, one for when they actually kill somebody, one for the idol, and one for the shop, which is usually just one we hand pick that we find matches it. So right here I'm just setting up all the pumpkin animations for the shoot face, the kill face, and the idol face. And all these were done by Johnny. And yeah, that's what I'm working on here. Not too much trouble that came up with this section. Pretty easy, straightforward. Got it set up to where it's not too difficult to just kind of swap things in and out. I actually just had it all set up on an animator from another character, and I just duplicated that and adjusted it accordingly to fit the new characters. So pretty easy to add in new characters and everything. And here's me sharing the stream across all the platforms I'm on. And here I'm working on the actual idle animation of the pumpkin. And what we're doing, since we're not that good, we're not animators or riggers or anything, is we have everything as independent pieces, and we're just animating it in Unity, just a basic up and down movement. And on this character, I actually wanted the head to just be floating independent from the animation. It took a little bit of tries to get it how I wanted it to feel, but I ended up getting it just right at the end. I felt it, kind of needed the head to just float independently of the actual animation, and that's what I ended up doing. This is me constantly checking on Twitter and everything, checking the chat, seeing if anybody's in the chat. We always try to interact with everybody that's in the stream. And looks like I finished that. I'm gonna go test it out. There's a pumpkin player testing it out. There's a bouncing barrel. But the player worked. Went to commit. Always leave a detailed description of what you did when you commit, so you know. And here's me adjusting the enemy accordingly, just basically taking and copying the components from the vampire enemy and putting it on to the pumpkin enemy. That way I don't have to redo a whole bunch of stuff, and then changing the tags and layers accordingly. And then I go and slap in the pumpkin enemy to actually test him out. And here's the test. He shoots, he dies, he kills the player, and it's all working well. I had fun with this bouncing barrel. And the next part, I had to add him to the shop so people can actually select him and pick him in the shop, and he shows up. On this one, we had to just drag him in there, and then we had to make sure his face was in there as well. And we usually just pick a random animation that we think would fit for it. Such a cute character. But as you can see, we got all the characters in there right now. Johnny's working on one more character that will be in the game on launch, so look for that. I don't know if we'll share that one. I think he wants it to be a surprise. And now I wait because my dog's needed in or something. I had to go to the bathroom. Just to pause, and I'm back. Now in level select screen, I do adjust a bunch of stuff accordingly. I got rid of that green background because I think we're going to do something else with it. Not sure exactly how we're going to make it look and feel, but we'll get to that when we get to it. At this point, I just wanted to center the buttons and make sure the buttons were kind of big enough so that, you know, people could tap them and they weren't like too small. So I was just adjusting that, and of course you can see they're off center. This took me a bit of time to figure out why they're off center. I got them to be center when in editor, but once I hit play, it started to jump over to the side. So here's me just kind of fiddling with numbers, trying to get it to work, and of course you saw it jump to the side right when I hit play. This took a bit of time to figure out what was the problem. Right there, as I don't know if you could tell in the video, but I got it to where it was near center, but it was a little bit off. Every time I hit play, it would jump to the left a bit. And if I can notice that, I'm not a designer and I don't have an eye for these things, but if I can notice that, then I know other people will as well. So I had to fix that the best I could. What ended up happening though was I think the content game object, the anchor wasn't set to stretch across the screen. So it was that mixed with a couple of scalings of other objects and numbers of the padding and stuff like that with the grids that I use for the UI. But in the end, I ended up getting it figured out, which was all good. And the next part that I had to do was, once I get this figured out, was that if I hit play, you'll notice that it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4 on the buttons. These are supposed to be the level select, so it'll show level 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on with the buttons. And as you can see, it just shows 1. And what it is set to right now is it goes through all the buttons and it just sets the text to be the level it's supposed to load, or the latest level actually in the level manager. So if level 2 is unlocked, it would go 1, 2, then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 for the rest of the buttons. And what I ended up having to do with that one is I ended up having to go through a loop I already had with the buttons that would tell it which level to load. I had to go through that loop, and I had to actually make it put a int for a button counter, and you'll see that right here. Do a button counter outside the loop variable, and inside the loop I just created this method on the actual button where I could put a level number and then just set the text to that. And what I do is I tried it in the wrong loop at first when I was doing this, but I ended up putting it in the correct one, and then I put a variable, and then I just made it set button level number to that button count, and it ended up working just fine. The joys of game development. As you can see, it just started working, then I committed my work, and that's about it. After that, I went and let the dogs out, and yeah, it was fun. I hope you all can join us on our next stream. Go follow us on Mixer, subscribe to us on YouTube to get notified when we go live, and you can see stuff like this. We also do a podcast every Friday. We do it live so people could come in, ask questions, and we'll answer them. Alright guys, until next time, keep creating. Bye!